I never blocked her, never sent a final text laced with anger or desperation. I didn't slam the door behind me or leave a bitter trail of parting words. I just left quietly, not because I stopped loving her, but because I finally began to love myself. When your soul grows weary from fighting for someone who no longer fights for you, you stop searching for closure. You start searching for peace. So I chose peace, slowly, painfully, but with conviction that didn't need an audience. I thought she'd moved on, that she had filled the space I once held with someone new, someone better. She didn't even flinch when I disappeared. No calls, no texts, no missed you messages, just silence, the kind that confirms every doubt you were too afraid to say out loud. Still, I held my dignity. Let her go without drama, because sometimes the quietest exit says the most. Until one night, when everything shifted, she appeared without warning, standing outside my apartment door, soaked from the rain, shivering, speechless. Her hair clung to her face, her coat wrapped tightly around her like armor. She wasn't even sure she had the right to wear. She stood there holding something small in her hands, a fragile offering, something I hadn't expected and wasn't prepared for. It was everything I thought she'd thrown away. We hadn't been a whirlwind kind of love. Ours was slow and steady, the kind that slips into your bones and becomes a rhythm. Long talks at 2 a.m. grocery runs that felt like adventures. Remembering each other's favorite cereals without needing to ask. She knew me better than anyone had. My fears, my traumas, the way my voice cracked when I was about to break. She saw it all. And still, somehow, it hadn't been enough. She drifted slowly. It started in her silences, in the way she no longer looked me in the eye. Then came the excuses, the emotional distance, the subtle absence in a relationship that was meant to be shared. I asked her once what had changed. She didn't cry. She didn't confess. She simply shrugged and said, "I don't know." And that answer cut the deepest, because apathy always wounds sharper than anger. So I walked away, not because I didn't love her, but because I was tired of being the only one trying. I didn't scream. I didn't plead. I left the key on the counter, and with every step further from her, I felt the ache begin to release its grip on my chest. I reminded myself that peace, even when wrapped in loneliness, was better than a hollow ache of lying next to someone who made me feel invisible. The days that followed were quiet. I started rebuilding, my mornings, my routines, the forgotten parts of me. I began reading again, taking long walks without explaining where I was going, brewing tea at night to calm the ghosts that still stirred in the silence. But healing isn't linear. Peace doesn't arrive with fireworks. It arrives in small, hesitant steps. Steps you have to take over and over, even when your heart misses what hurt it. I thought about her sometimes, wondered if she had replaced me. If someone else got the version of her I could never quite reach. But I convinced myself it didn't matter. She made her choice, and I made mine. And then, on a rainy night, I heard the knock. Soft, barely there. The kind of knock you give when you don't know if you deserve to be answered. I opened the door, expecting anything but her. Yet there she stood, drenched, exhausted, eyes swollen from sleepless nights. She didn't speak, just held out a small box, trembling in her hands. Inside were fragments of a past I tried to bury. My spare key, a wrinkled concert ticket, a birthday note I once wrote on hotel paper, a photo of us laughing, really laughing, the kind that can't be faked. "I didn't come to ask for anything," she said, her voice breaking. "I just didn't know where else to go." I stepped aside. She entered quietly, dripping water on the floor like a stranger returning to a home she no longer remembered. She sat on the edge of the couch, unsure, like the furniture might reject her. We said nothing for a long time, just shared the kind of silence that holds years of pain. Then she whispered, "I didn't replace you. I thought you did." I said honestly. She shook her head slowly. I tried to forget, to fill the space you left. But nothing worked. No one felt like home. Her voice cracked again. "It was so loud without you. I didn't realize how much until you were really gone." I looked at her, Not the version I'd imagined since I left, not the villain I made her in my mind, not the absence I'd curse at night, but the real her. Raw, fragile, haunted by regret. The woman I had loved and lost all at once. I hurt you, she said, not by what I did, but by what I stopped doing. I stopped showing up. I stopped choosing you. And by the time I realized what I'd done, you were already gone. Tears slid down her cheeks. I don't blame you. I wouldn't have stayed either. She reached into her coat and pulled out a letter, its edges worn from being handled too many times. I wrote this the night you left. I couldn't bring myself to send it. I didn't think I deserved to. But I just needed you to know I never stopped loving you. I just forgot how to show it. She placed the letter on the table and stood. I said nothing. Not because I didn't feel anything, but because I felt everything at once. Sometimes pain and love speak in the same language, and you can't decipher which is louder. I'll go, she whispered. I'm sorry. She walked to the door, then hesitated. Even if you never speak to me again, thank you. Thank you for choosing peace. It reminded me what I lost when I stopped choosing us. And just like that, she was gone. I didn't chase her. Not because I didn't care, but because some moments aren't meant to be rushed. They're meant to linger in your chest and settle into stillness before you know what to do with them. Hours later, I opened the letter. Every sentence landed like a bruise I hadn't realized still needed healing. She wrote about fear of not being enough, of not knowing how to accept being loved so fully. She wrote about self-sabotage, about guilt, about the way we ruin what we most need because we think we don't deserve it. At the end, she wrote, "If peace is what you found, I hope I never disturb it again. But if there's a part of you that still remembers what we had, I'll be waiting. Not to fix it all, just to be real this time. I don't know what happens next. I don't know if her words are the truth or if time will once again carry her elsewhere. I don't know if peace and love can truly live in the same space. But I know this. Sometimes the people who broke you come back carrying the pieces they didn't realize they dropped. And it's up to you to decide whether picking them up will bring healing or more hurt. So if this story finds you sitting in your own silence tonight, tell me, what would you do if the one who left returned the very things you thought they had forgotten? Because sometimes love doesn't end. It just learns how to knock.